Hey budgeteers, Quincy here. Now that you've downloaded the budget template in the last video, it's time to move forward and we are going to start putting our budget together. But before we do that, I want to take just a minute to show you what's in the budget. We're going to go through it, talk about all of the things that it can do for you. Some of it may not make sense right at the time that we're talking about it, but I just want to show you what it's capable of so that you have a good idea of what to start planning for and expecting as you're putting this budget template together. So we're going to jump right into the budget template and take a look now. So you may have saved your budget template somewhere already on your computer, or you may still be in the same step I am because you just started right where the last video left off. So what we're going to want to do here is you'll go ahead and open the budget template by clicking on it, and it will take its sweet time because it is a big file, but it will open up and we should have that budget template ready to review now. I hope that this really helps you out, and I'm ready to show you everything there is to know about this budget template and answer any questions or build anything else you want into it by request. So let me know if you're looking for anything specific, and we can see if it's something that enough people would like that we can get that built in. Now, the first thing that you'll notice here is that I've opened the automated template, not the manual template that I downloaded in the previous video, but it's going to have just that one extra tab so that I can go over that with everyone, and I'll make sure that we cover it. So I needed to make sure this one was open. So the first thing you'll want to do is enable editing. And once you enable editing, it will allow you to change anything inside of the budget template itself. So today I'm not going to click that because we're not changing anything. We're just taking a quick look here. So the first thing we're going to look at is the Start Here tab. You know what they say, the very best place to start is the very beginning. So Start Here is the first tab in the file, and it says to name your accounts. So basically, we're looking at every single transaction that you have as its own account. If it's income, if it's debt, if it's a personal expense, if it's anything else, a withholding, so tithing or savings or a charity of your choice, anything that you're withholding money for is an account. You can see some of those listed here. And on this tab, what you'll do is you'll come in and you can change the names of each account. And what that will do is it'll make it so that when you get paid, your income won't be called Income 1, it would be called Quincy's Income or something else that you want it to be named. And so you can name anything and everything and label it so that you'll remember what it is. In the next tab, this is only important if you really had a budget going the year before. So this is the first year that we're publishing this out live to everyone. So with that being said, you won't have anything initially here likely. You may have already been saving or doing something on the side, and you'll want to come back and look at this later. And I'll go over that at the very end of this entire series because that will be the last thing that you'll need to know so that in 2018 and beyond, from when this video was created, you will be able to move over your buckets, and we'll talk about what buckets are later. So the one thing that you'll need to note here is that it just needs your starting checking account balance. So whatever is in your checking account today, or if you don't use a checking account, if you're not using a bank and you use all cash, it's what are you holding today? How much money do you have right now? And that's what you'll put in there. Then we'll jump to the next tab. This is where all of the magic happens, and you'll actually create one of these tabs for every single month of the year, and this is where you'll track all of everything that's going on. You'll see your entire month at a quick glance, and you'll know exactly how you're performing in your budget, which is awesome. So you can come over here to these drop downs, these plus marks over here, and if you click that, when it's enabled editing, it will actually open up and it will show you your total income and other things. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that now. And it basically reopens the whole file. A little bit more. There we go. All right. And then macros are still disabled, and I won't enable those in this video because well, actually we might when we get to the tool, but we'll get there when we get there. So on this, you'll see that there's step 1, step 2, step 3, and then there's 4A and 4B. These are actually kind of backwards, and I'll get to those in just a moment. But in step 1, you can drop that down. You can see here's income 1 through 7. Here's 8 through 10. You've got debt 1 through 11. And you'll notice that if you jump back to the Start Here tab, income 1 through 7, 8 through 10, and debts 1 through 11. They correspond. So if I come over here and I change income 1 to Quincy's income, and then I click off of that and jump over to January of 2017, you'll notice it flows through. So you can start to name those and build your budget this way. The blue boxes is where you'll put your estimates for the month. So for me, I always put in that I will estimate $4,000 worth of income. And my actuals will always equate that because we run on a $4,000 per month budget. And I'll get into more detail on the personal side of that. So if you're watching my budget series, I'll talk about why I do that. But that's just for informational purposes so that I can put this in and show you how that works. So you can see here that I've budgeted that I'll make $4,000, but so far I haven't made any money in January 2017, according to this file. And so my difference is negative $4,000, which means I'm behind in my budget. So it tells you instantly what the differences are. Next, you'll go over to your debts and you can do the same thing. So for debt 1, you may say, oh, I have a credit card, and you can budget how much that costs you each month. And when the payment comes through, you'll put in the actuals there. You have withholding, so you can put in percentages that are withheld from your pay or dollar amounts that are withheld from your pay. So for example, some people like to hold 10% for savings or for a charity, or they like to hold $100 for savings out. You can do all of that right here. That's where that magic happens. Then you have your household related expenses and bucket accounts. And bucket accounts, again, I'll talk about those more in depth later. Just realize it works exactly the same as household related expenses for the most part. So over here, these are things like anything that's a fixed expense. So I know that every single month, my internet bill is the exact same unless I've run out of that promotion that everyone's on, and then I have to figure that one out. But this is things that don't change. So we will have those here, and you'll just label those in. And again, you don't label them in here. You will have labeled those in the Start Here tab. Here's HRE, Household Related Expense, 1 through 20, and you'll notice they correspond over here. You can close these boxes by closing the minus sign, and it will roll it all back up. And then in your weekly budget, this is something that some people will use. You may want to put it in household related expenses depending on who you are and how you like to budget. But for me and my family, we like to have a weekly budget: food, entertainment, and other. So what we do is we just put a lump sum in to the weekly budget, and then that will buy all of our groceries. It will take us out to dinner. It will do anything that we want to do on a weekly basis. And that gives my wife a little bit more freedom to almost run her own budget for the family on that side, to say, this week we're going to only spend $75 on food so that we can go out and see a movie, or we can do whatever we want to adjust that and live on that little tiny budget that's kind of our micro transactions. And I'll show you a little bit more about how that works. If you're watching the budgeting series as well, you'll watch exactly how my family runs on that little schedule. And the weekly budgeting tools, step 4B, and this is why it's backwards, this is where you actually set how much is going to be budgeted inside of step 4A. So you can come down and label the things that you want to be in your weekly budget and how many numbers of times you'll be transferring for that budget. So you may have 5 weeks in the month, you may have 4 weeks in the month, you may have some other weird oddity that you're looking at, and so you need to change that. This is where all of that occurs. Now, again, this is just a very brief overview, so if you're feeling confused or lost, don't worry about it. Just know that this is just giving you a sense of what this will do. And if you come over and budget with me, we'll do that every week, and you can see exactly how this works, and I will take you through step by step what it's doing, and we will walk through that. Bucket accounts. My boss has told me to hold off, so I'm going to wait. All right, I want to jump in real quick right here and let you know that we're not going to talk super in-depth about buckets yet. It's going to be in the very next video, so you can jump to that one after this and learn all about buckets and what they are. But they are very important. They're what makes this whole budget template super cool and super ready to take care of you, even when something comes up that you've been planning for a long time, but that was out of nowhere. For example, if you have a big car repair or a big bill comes due that you've been preparing for, you're ready for it. So buckets are going to be a huge key of this, but I wanted to jump in and let you know I'm going to skip past this tab and we're going to talk about it in the next video. And with that, we're going to jump over to the expense tracker. So for the expense tracker, this is where the magic happens. You will add in your transactions on these lines and it will actually fill them into your monthly budget. So Like I said, I was planning on making $4,000 of income. However, I've made no income. So I'm not going to type that in over here, but what I am going to do is go back to the expense tracker, and I'm going to put in the month, January, and the year, 2017, and the day, the 5th day, because that would be a day that I would get paid. And let's just say I get paid everything all at once, so the full $4,000. Statement comment is what's on my bank statement, so if I want to get really detailed, I can keep detailed comments here. Manual comments are things that maybe I want to say about it. It was a great day when I got paid. And then I select the category, which is Quincy's income. And then when I jump back over to this 2017 tab, you'll notice the actuals have filled in with $4,000, and my difference is now $0, which means I'm on target for my budget. Now, on the flip side of that, let's say I only made $3,900 instead of the full $4,000. It would show that I'm short $100. Or let's say I got a really nice little bump there this month. I would see that I'm actually $100 ahead on my budget. And that will make it so that it will flow all the way through to my monthly summary. And you'll see that I budgeted $4,000 and my month end was supposed to be $4,000. But what actually happened was I have $4,100 with a difference of $100 in the positive, which is awesome for me. So that's the expense tracker. Now, the last tab that I really want to go over, I'll jump to this one next just because it's a little less important. This is just a budget item list. So when you're over in the Start Here tab, if you're trying to think of things that you might have that occur, this is just some examples or ideas of those names. So for debts, you may have retail credit, auto loans, student loans. Just gives you some ideas so that you'll have somewhere to refer to if you're trying to think through that. So the CSV tool, this is only available in the automated template. And this is something that you don't really want to do this on a weekly or daily basis. It's going to make your budgeting a lot harder. But if you're budgeting on a monthly basis, this could make it a lot easier for you. Or let's say you're joining in mid-year and you want to budget from January 1st all the way to the middle of the year. This is a great way to go. So what you'll do is you'll go to your bank and they'll have a downloadable file of all of your transactions from your statement. You will take that and you'll paste it right in here. And I'll have a full tutorial on this as well. This is just the quick way that this works. You'll paste it here, and then you'll go to step 2, and you just have to fill in the categorization. So actually, it will fill in all of this information for you, the date, the days. It's everything that's in the expense tracker, and the only thing you have to do is fill in this last box, which is going to be these same drop-down items. So you can pick one of them, and then you're going to close that. And the output is going to be whatever it is that it's going to put into your expense tracker. So this is basically quickly building all of these expenses over here. Because if I'm going to put these in, I have to one at a time insert a new row and put a new expense in. And that's going to take some time. This tool is going to do all of that for me, and I just have to check and make sure that all these categories are right, or those Quincy's income or debt, however I want to label it. And then once I know that everything is absolutely complete, this warning here says, do not click this button until you are completely done. If I click this, it will take everything in here and it will put it in the expense tracker for me and automatically load into this file. So it's a really quick way. If you've got your whole month, you can just go through and instead of having to enter them all in the expense tracker, you can just categorize them and then click that button and wham, it's done. So it's a pretty awesome tool. The file is much larger, and so that is the drawback on this, but you'll have that available if you have the automated template, whereas I use the manual template because I do budget every week and I don't have a lot coming through. So with that, this is the budget template. You're looking at it here. If you're starting later in the year, it's not January anymore, or you're starting in another year, it's not 2017 anymore, that's fine. This template will be updated, and so you'll have the new one. It'll always start in January of the year that you downloaded it in, and then I will show you how to bring that to the current month in a later video. So continue to watch the series. Just know that this is the overview of this template. So there it is. This is the template that we'll be working with, and every single week on Saturdays, you can come budget with me, and we'll be going right through this exact template. You can also create your own. I'll have a tutorial for that as well, but this is the budget template that I use. And so if you follow right along, you'll be using the same tool and can ask me questions directly to what I'm using. And that way I can help you a little bit easier. But this is the budget template that I offer. And if you have any questions on it, please leave those in the comments below. Or you can just get in direct contact with me. Head over to budgetwithquincy.com. You can use the contact form. You can jump over to Facebook and get me there. Be sure to become a budgeteer today by subscribing to this channel and continue to watch the great videos that are coming through so that you can continue to budget with me. Thank you for watching. I'm extremely glad to have you here. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up. For more awesome videos, make sure you are subscribed.